Hey everyone, I first want to wish everyone a very, very happy new year. This is my very first video that I am posting of myself in this current year, 2026. I pray that this year will be a blessing to everyone listening to me. I'm super excited to know and see everything that God has in store for you this current year. I am living in expectancy of a move of God, a shift of God, a just supernatural encounter this year. I'm excited to see all that God has in store for us this year, and we can look forward towards all the good things He has planned. As long as we keep our discipline, we keep our momentum, we remain focused, tunnel vision. I mean, the sky is the limit at this moment. And I cannot wait to see everything planned for us this year. Tonight, I do want to talk about emotional availability. A lot of times we are not really aware when people are emotionally available and when they are not. So I do believe this discussion will be a very helpful tool to know whether someone's even emotionally available to connect with you, to date with you, or just to care or consider your emotions. First, I want to thank everyone who has had an opportunity to get our free 10-step e-guide, How to Date Effectively. It's for free. If you go to our website and input your email, you will receive a free copy of that. I do want to thank everyone who has had an opportunity to provide the feedback, who has had the opportunity to actually review it, takeaways from it, they learned from it, they gave encouraging words regarding it. I am super appreciative of it. As we know, whoever you decide to date will be one of the most crucial decisions that you will ever have to make. And we just want to ensure that when we are connecting with someone, that they are actually sent from God. Our 10 steps: test the fruit, get to know your date, identify compatibilities, know the differences, acknowledge imperfections, discuss personal backgrounds, observe healed and unhealed traumas, speak future plans, make boundaries and expectations known, align living structures. And then we have a bonus dating checklist. I'm telling you, this is an e-guide that you guys have to get your copy. Tonight, I want to talk about emotional availability. We've been having so many different discussions on our YouTube platform, Our Faith Heals, and I'm telling you, these conversations have been very helpful and insightful. Even as I discuss it, I feel encouraged. And it's good to be aware of who you're connecting with, what they can offer and bring to the table, and how open they are to receive you as their significant other. Tonight, we're going to talk about emotional availability. In the realm of dating, of course, Our Faith Connects, we do connect people together, believers 35 plus. We have some events coming up, so I do highly recommend going to check out our events on our website. In the realm of dating, we talk about the need to be emotionally available. When someone is not emotionally available, they tend to zone out in conversations, although they are present during communication. The mind appears elsewhere in thought, and they are detached when emotions are expressed. So when someone is trying to have a conversation with them, they are present in the moment with them physically, but in their mind, they're somewhere else. They may be thinking about something else. They have a lot of other things that are clustering their thoughts in the moment. And when someone is expressing their emotions, they seem to be detached from the conversation and what is being expressed. There is little to no sympathy or open expression of care to the emotions of someone else. Someone saying that what they have done may have hurt them. They don't have any open expression of acknowledging what that person is saying, nor have a response that addresses the concern or the emotion that's being discussed. People can unintentionally be emotionally unavailable by linking their feelings to the same emotion. When all their responses are shown through one emotion, it is bondage from one stage of their life or change, although moving on in life. So there are some people, no matter what they're feeling, their response is out of that one emotion. For example, someone responding with anger, although there's underlying emotions that were never addressed, like fear, hurt, heartbreak, and sadness. Every response is out of anger. Each season of their life, although they continue to move forward, it shows anger. So, what does that mean? That means all of their responses is based out of one emotion. Because of this, it becomes difficult for someone to relate to the current felt emotion of others. That means if someone is actually expressing a different emotion outside of the one emotion that they are feeling, it's hard for them to relate to it. A lot of times when we're having conversations with others, we're able to sympathize with them and empathize because we're able to relate an emotion that we may have felt before, maybe not in the moment. But when someone is only responding to one emotion, it can cause disengagement in conversation that can come off as not caring, leading to distance and miscommunication. When looking to build a relationship with someone, it is important to be available to listen and understand the emotion of others. Also, give a space for their emotions to be expressed and acknowledged through response and change of action if necessary. Being a space where someone's like, you know what, you can confide in me. You can share what's on your mind, how you're feeling. I have an ear to listen to you. I'm open to hear what you have to say, even if it's correction, even if I have to hold myself accountable, even if it has to be a change in my actions. I'm willing to hear you out. So being able to create a space where people are comfortable discussing things with you without you overreacting, without someone becoming easily offended or defensive, they're able to allow someone to express how they're feeling and giving them room to do that without rebuttal. When you're looking to date, it is very important that we give that space and that room for people to be honest with us and to share what's on their mind. We will discuss a few reasons why a person can be emotionally unavailable. Again, it's not always intentional that someone's unavailable. However, it is important that we are aware. We know that emotions do not create a great lead in direction because with your emotions, you can be overreactive, you can be impulsive, you can just have a temporary emotion where the emotion changed, but you already made the decision. So emotions do not create a great lead where we have to use our intellect, we have to use our understanding, we have to process our emotions before we're just responding. Emotions change. We're going to talk about why someone can be emotionally unavailable, which really means that their emotions are not managed, they're not controlled, right? Sometimes they don't even have a sense of what they're feeling. Number one, untamed emotions. When a person has not controlled their emotions, they tend to respond from their emotions without thought. So that's just impulsively. If they're angry, they're punching walls, they're yelling, they're just acting very aggressive, right? A lot of times when someone's emotions are not tamed, they're not controlled, they don't disposition them, they don't process, they don't just take a moment to breathe and really understand what they're feeling in the moment, they just crash out. It's untamed. When people have untamed emotions, they can become displaced and affect those around them. So now they have displaced emotions where because they're all out of control, they're spiraling. Now their emotions are affecting other people because they may be taking out their anger, their emotion that they're experiencing or feeling on the person that loves them or the people that are connected with them that did not cause that chain of effect. So when you see people have a lot of displaced emotions where they're taking out their problems on other people or their how they're feeling on other people, their emotions are not tamed. It is more challenging for one to connect to the emotions of others when theirs are out of control. The behavior is uncontrolled. Now, if you're looking for someone to be emotionally available, they would have to have tame emotions because if ever you are expressing to them what you're feeling or what's going on in your life, if their emotions are uncontrolled, they're untamed, it will be hard for them to not only relate, but to connect with an understanding of what you are truly expressing. Number two, numb emotions, right? Life can have a way of causing us to become numb. So when a person has not addressed and acknowledged the emotions they feel, it causes damage. Depending on what was done, if a person's emotions go from hurt to anger to bitterness, it can land to them becoming numb, no longer feeling their emotions or having sympathy for others. When someone's emotions have become numb, they don't even feel their emotions, where they just toned out their emotions, therefore not being able to acknowledge your emotions or even feel the emotion that you're feeling based on what you've said. So if you express to someone that what they've done has hurt you and it was just wrong, they're not having any sympathy for it. They're not even showing emotion that they feel bad or have any regret or remorse for how they mistreated you. They have become numb. If ever feeling rejected, it can cause one to become numb and address matters like, well, I had to go through it, right? A lot of times when people have hardened experiences where it had created a hardened heart within them, when people are expressing what's going on in their life, they become numb and don't really acknowledge the emotion because they're like, well, if I had to go through it, then you can go through it. You'll be just fine without truly acknowledging it. They would rather justify it through their individual experiences. Well, I was hurt like this before. I had to go through it. So they ignore your emotion to justify you feeling this way by their own individual lived experience. It can happen unintentionally. There are people that's like, well, toughen up, you'll get stronger, it'll get better, right? Which is true, but they're ignoring how you are feeling. If you're dating someone, if you get into a relationship with someone, we want to make sure that they're not numb. We want to make sure that they're not numb because if they are numb, then they will disregard your emotions that can result in same or similar action reoccurring. If they're not acknowledging and they're disregarding what you're saying or what you're expressing, they're not really being attentive to what you are saying, therefore resulting in them doing the same thing to you again if they've ever hurt you. Don't get me wrong, life will have a way to make you numb because you've been through so much and you've had to build yourself back up and you had to get the resilience. However, that does not justify being emotionally unavailable to your significant other. You would have to heal. And we're going to talk about what it looks like when someone is emotionally available after this. Number three, unidentified emotions. When someone is unable to identify what they're feeling and why, it will be harder to understand the emotion of others. We are better able to understand the emotion of others when we know what we are feeling and by relating to a once felt emotion, although not in the moment. There's so many people that have unidentified emotions. They don't even know why they feel how they feel and what they're actually feeling. They don't have a way to articulate that or explain it. Everyone links their emotions to happy or sad, but there's more emotions than those two. When someone's emotions are unidentified, it can cause offense and rebuttal in conversations as feelings are unclear and can cause a conversation to go way left or way right. You're like, how do we even get here? What happened? Very unclear. No clarity. Why? Because the person in which you were having a conversation with could have became offended by what you were saying and they rebutted in conversation. As they don't know how to identify the emotions that they are feeling, they're not identifying what you are feeling. They're not understanding it, which can cause for offense. Although emotions do not make great leaders and can intensify situations and relationships, there should be a healthy balance of expression and release. As I said earlier, emotions do not make a great lead. They don't make great leaders. So we want to make sure whatever we're doing, we're not being led by our emotions, but we're being led by intellect. We're being led by common sense. We're being led after processing what's actually taking place, like what's really happening. How should I feel about this? Am I overreacting? Am I doing too much? How did we get here? Do I need to calm down? Do I need to reset? Do I need to take a break? Do I need some fresh air? Emotional availability requires healing, maturity, and having space and time to be present in conversation in heart and mind. That means not only are you present physically, but in heart and mind, where you're being attentive to what's being expressed, what's being shared. You have the space for, you have the time for, you're open to hear what someone else has to say. Giving them a gentle place to let their emotions out and a listening ear that may bring out a softness in you. Based on what they're saying, it may soften your heart, it may convict your heart, it may make you reconsider or just think about things differently. We are human and at times can be reactive from our emotions, but it still gives no excuse. We should recollect ourselves when we know we have taken things too far. There are times that you got to sit back and think, like, man, did I take it too far? Maybe I need to sit down somewhere. Maybe I need to be quiet for a moment. Maybe I just need to listen. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I should have done better, right? Being able to have that healthy dialogue and communication with the person that you're dating or your significant other, giving them room to share in an environment where there's honesty and transparency. Here are 4 ways we know someone is emotionally available. Okay, so those are 3 ways when someone is not emotionally available, and we're going to discuss 4 ways we know someone is. Number 1, they have emotional awareness, the ability to identify what they're feeling and why. They know exactly why they're feeling that way. And they are also able to control their emotions. Coping and processing their emotions and not making lifelong decisions on a temporary emotion. Emotions change. One day you're happy, one day you're irritated, one day you're melancholy, right? Your emotions change. We want to ensure that we're not making lifelong decisions on a temporary emotion. When someone is emotionally aware, they're able to identify what they're feeling, why they're feeling it. They can control their emotions by not making lifelong decisions based on a temporary emotion, which means that sometimes you just can't do anything until you process exactly what you're feeling and you're coping with it. Finding different coping skills. Taking ownership of their emotions and releasing them responsibly. Articulating and expressing their emotions in form of communication without overreacting. Someone who is emotionally available, they have emotional awareness. They can actually explain what they're feeling and why they're feeling this way in a way of communicating and not overreacting in their actions. Next, emotional intelligence, the ability to understand the emotions of others with time spent learning how to control their own emotions and articulating how they are feeling. They are at a better advantage to understand what others express. Here, because they have emotional awareness, now they have emotional intelligence because they have already took the time to identify what they feel and how to control their emotions. When people are expressing their emotions, they understand them. This allows for accountability and finding middle grounds to resolve conflict. We need emotional intelligence. Next, openness. Be mindful of giving access to others, but with a significant other, there should be a closeness where there is space for honesty and transparency, allowing a sacred place among two. Being their safe haven, being their safe place to be able to share and let out and really be truthful about what's happening and what they're thinking and how they're feeling without rebuttal, without offense. If someone feels they cannot be honest due to offense or distrust, they may shut down and become emotionally unavailable. So we want to give room for people to be open with us. And they have to know that we can be trusted. Mature enough to know every conversation, including difficult ones, will not always be to their liking or agreement, but still willing to have them. There's going to be uncomfortable conversations. There's going to be difficult ones. There's going to be ones that you don't like the ending or you don't like what's being said. A lot of times people want to have conversations when it's to their liking of discussion or if it's going into the direction they want. They want to control the conversation. So if it's not to their liking or to their agreement, they don't want to have it. That's not maturity. We must be mature enough to have conversations, even if they're difficult, even if it's not what we want to hear, even if we don't like the conversation or do we agree with it. We should still be open to hear someone out and willing to have the discussion as necessary. Next, lastly, forgiveness. People who are emotionally available do not allow their emotions to pile up, but learn to let things go. This is the biggest one because there are times where we just hold on to a lot of things. We let them pile up. We sweep it on the rug. We don't address it. We don't get to the root cause. We allow things to lay dormant, and then it comes and triggers us at another season or another moment in conversation. People with emotional availability, they're able to let things go. Bitterness forms an unforgiveness, which can cause someone to become emotionally unavailable as their heart has become hardened. We know bitterness is not always something that we have done, but it's something that was done towards us and we didn't heal properly and allow for us to become hardened by what was done. Bitterness is not something that we cause, but it's something that we still need to address, unfortunately. Our hardened heart gives no healthy room for others to express without a level of bitterness and lack of genuineness. Forgiving others and oneself creates healthier dynamics and comforting communications without emotional retaliation. This is big when you are able to forgive others, including yourself, because we're not perfect, we make mistakes. It creates healthier dynamics and relationships and comforting conversations where you feel comfort having this discussion with them without feeling as if there's an emotional retaliation where it's like, oh, well, you did this to me, so I'm going to do it to you. You made me feel this way, so I'm going to make sure that you feel this way. That's emotional retaliation. Someone who is emotionally unavailable can cause emotional retaliation, would want you to feel every last pain that you may have caused to them. They want you to feel it. When you are emotionally available, you've matured, you have emotional awareness, you have emotional intelligence, you're open to rooms and spaces where the discussion may not go in your favor or your liking. However, you're mature enough to still have it, and you're able to forgive, let go, move on with your life without wanting to emotionally retaliate. That's important in relationships when you're looking at the duration of a relationship, wanting to be with someone for years or have already been with someone for years. You have to forgive because if not, it's going to be tit for tat, tit for tat, tit for tat. When you are looking to date, consider your capacity to become a safe place for the emotions of your significant other with a commitment to flowing communication without shutting down, disregarding, and zoning out. If you are concerned that you are not emotionally available, it can indicate not fully embracing the love of God. Being emotionally unavailable reveals unmanaged emotions or mistreatment of a prior emotion felt. There are times where someone can be emotionally unavailable based on how someone else treated them, and they never forgave them. They became hardened, got into a new relationship, mistreating that person because they never healed from the treatment of the prior relationship. They're linking their new relationship to a prior emotion felt. and they're addressing everything from that prior emotion. They're not going through that anymore. That person is not like that past relationship at all. However, they are still being treated as if they are their past. So we want to make sure that when we are connecting with people that we have been healed and we are not having unmanaged emotions and then mistreating people from a prior emotion that is not even something that's being dealt with today in the relationship. Emotions are still important. Even though we don't lead by our emotions, we still have them. And we are entitled to how we are feeling, but we need to know what we're feeling and we make sure that we keep our emotions in our control. The love of God will warm and soften the heart to bring awareness to the felt emotion and how to manage them and display them. When you actually embrace the love of God, you then have more awareness to what you're truly feeling because God will then reveal to you what's lying dormant in your heart and the crevices of your heart. You'll be able to better manage them with wisdom and know how to display them, as well as then being able to identify what someone else is feeling. A lot of times when you don't acknowledge what someone's feeling is because you don't truly understand what they're feeling because you may be emotionally unavailable for them. What they're feeling, you could have a lot on your plate in the moment, is a lot on your mind. It can be a scatterbrain, clustered mind, and you have no space for them. You just don't have the space. But when you are in a relationship or you're looking to date, it is important that you are emotionally available and open to being a space to allow people to express what they're feeling or what they're thinking. That was really all I wanted to talk about tonight. I pray that this discussion has been a blessing to you as it has been a blessing to me. If you guys had not had an opportunity to go to our YouTube platform, if you're watching from Instagram or vice versa, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. We will continue to do videos throughout the year and remain encouraged. I cannot wait for our very next video. Thanks, everyone.